Okay guys, I gotta be real at this point, I'm honestly scared for this dude's safety, as this psycho chicken lady, Rayne from 90 Day Fiancé before the 90 days, is trapping him alone and making him listen to her psychotic ramblings.
I think something spiritual happened to him that made him lose his sight so that we could come together.
As you just heard, she's out here acting like it was God's plan for this dude to go blind so that these two could meet and that he would have to rely on her. If that isn't the most terrifying thing of all time, I don't know what is, but what I do know is you gotta like this video in the next 5 seconds because every like equals 1 pair of Jordans for a bunny out there in need. And without any further ado, let's get right on into it, shall we?
Your beauty saturates the whole atmosphere. It gives me life.
Okay.
Wow, what a beautiful response to such a nice compliment. So Rayne's out here walking through this nature walk with her man Chidi, and she's feeling some type of way because you might not remember this, but in the last episode, he kind of fessed up to the fact that he's saving himself for marriage, something he didn't tell her about, as his newfound love for religion has really guided him in this direction. But needless to say, she is just really acting moody, and this is just the biggest red flag in a sea of red flags that this woman possesses. I need this dude to run the opposite direction without worrying about what he might run into. As long as it's in the opposite direction of this woman, you're gonna be safe.
Knowing Rayne's temperament, I am thankful that she's still speaking with me.
God, and this dude's so manipulated. Granted, they've been talking long distance for 5 years. I know he might not have that much romantic prospects out there with him being blind and not really getting to get out that much. But seriously, you're finding yourself thankful that she's still talking to you after you literally did nothing but speak the truth to her and told her how you feel? That's not how you should feel in a relationship, bro. Seriously, this lady's so possessive and manipulative, and she's making him feel guilty. I'm gonna say this probably 100 times throughout this video, but imagine if the genders were reversed here. There would be so many cancellation threads on Reddit saying, we need Rayne, male Rayne, to get off this show. He's a manipulative douchebag and so creepy. But no, instead we're just like, haha, crazy chicken lady. But no, for real, she's actually terrifying, dude.
So how am I doing guiding you?
How you guide me? It's awesome.
And he sounds so scared when he answers questions, as if everything's an interrogation, and he knows if he answers incorrectly, it can totally throw off the mood for the entire day, and she just punishes him with bad vibes. Like, is that the type of person you want to be sharing the rest of your life with? Seriously. Also, I don't get how her voice isn't a bigger turnoff for him. Like, when all you can do is hear things around you, I can't imagine wanting to have a voice that grating. It's this weird baby voice thing she does. It just really bugs me, and I hate listening to her voice.
Despite how misguided Chidi is by his faith, I still love him. I can't help it.
Dude, seriously, look at the lifeless stare that she's looking at us with as she's saying this crazy shit, bro. Even though I feel he's so misguided by his religion, like, no, this is just his personal conviction. For her to call that misguided, it just shows how much she believes this man isn't worthy of having his own thoughts and beliefs. He just needs to believe what she believes. He needs her to exist in this world, and that's just not true. He's got an amazing support system with his sister, as we saw earlier on in this season. And honestly, she's terrible at guiding him. He kind of lied in that last answer, but she literally has him bumping into shit left and right. She's too busy oohing and awing at the new country around her that she forgets she's supposed to be guiding around a blind person. Like, she wants all the credit of taking care of this guy, but doesn't put in any of the effort, which is another giant red flag.
I didn't mean to get a little angry at the market because all I wanted was to like love and cuddle on each other. And
so this works as a kind of pseudo apology coming from Rayne, which I kind of get the vibe this doesn't happen all that much in this relationship, because this dude seems to be bending over backwards to make her happy and to be walking on eggshells every time he talks. And I don't think she acknowledges the fact that she is batshit crazy as often as she needs to. I mean, in her world, she's doing everything right, and Chidi's the crazy one that's, you know, wanting to take things slow in their relationship. Again, I just can't believe she's pressuring him this much. It's honestly predatory.
That's all I wanted.
Yeah.
Of course, I would have wanted more, but I respect your decisions.
But you don't respect his decisions. That's why you keep making little comments, and every single time you bring up this conversation, you're like, yeah, I kind of want to blow my brains out because you make me so sad that you don't want me like that. But I'm just kidding. Like, it's fine. We can take our time, I guess. Like, I don't know. I don't want to bring the real world into this too much, especially because what I'm going to be bringing up is probably very traumatic and triggering for some people. So warning if you've had bad relationships with people who are pressury and like that in the past. But I just know that, again, if you switch these roles of these two right now, it would look so bad if it was just some creepy guy like, I flew all this way and you're not giving me any action, but I guess I can live. Barely. I'm on like 1% health if you just don't let me get some. Like, it's honestly predatory. That's the best word I have for it. I know I said that last time, but damn, she is creeping me out. And this dude's just taking it because he doesn't think he deserves anything better. Bro, you have way more options than this lady, this crazy chicken lady.
We've had some fights, and this is the first time for the 5 years, Rayne, ever apologized to me.
And this dude says, oh my God, I was right. He says this is the first time in 5 years that she has apologized for something. That is so sad. How have you put up with this for 5 years, bro? How low is your self-esteem? I know this whole losing your sight thing really messes with your head. I can't even imagine. But seriously, you have to give yourself more credit and understand that you deserve something way bigger and better than this. And she's like everybody else on this show. I guess I've only watched Lauren's story, but she's a bum back home too and doesn't really make any money. It's not like he's, marrying into wealth if they marry. No, she literally has nothing to offer but craziness and bad vibes.
Looking back that far now, are you ashamed of even flirting with me and loving me in that way? Are you ashamed of it now?
No, I am not.
And then she instantly goes back onto interrogation mode. Seriously, this feels like watching police body cam videos, bro. This dude is practically detained and just hasn't been read his Miranda rights at all stages of these conversations because she is asking these serious questions. Are you ashamed? Are you ashamed you even talked about that dirty stuff with me? You don't even want to do that dirty stuff with me anymore? Do you think I'm a freak? Do you think I'm a weird, ugly freak? Like, she is so sad and how low her self-esteem is. And again, that's the only reason they got together is she said, finally, I realized I could be with somebody who's blind and they're not going to care about how ugly I am. Not calling her ugly, that's what she said about herself. But you can just see how many ways this insecurity comes through in their conversations. Like, who asks questions like that in their right mind? But anyways, at the end of this nature walk, Chidi agrees to be more affectionate, which I guess he just wasn't, giving her enough love in other ways. So that makes her smile, that makes her happy. That's not really something that makes me happy. In fact, it has the opposite effect to see her happy. But moving on to the next day, now they go out for another nature retreat. She gets to see some monkeys for the first time ever.
He's a little fatty. Okay, I almost had a stroke.
Which, no surprise, they hate her guts, don't want her to touch them. Pretty on brand with everything else in this world that has, vision. But here's where her true craziness comes out to play once again. We cannot escape the craze, okay?
Sound of the birds and the waters floating. Oh, man, it's awesome. Oh.
And they're walking around. She's asking him to describe what his visuals are, and he basically says he sees a lot of bright white and grays and a little bit of blurry colors, but that's it. And as they get out of this depiction of what he's seeing, he bumps into a damn branch because again, she's in La La Land being a dumbass and is holding his hand thinking that counts as guiding him. No, you got to be watching for obstacles and worried about where he's walking because he can't fucking see. God, this lady pisses me off to no end. She is such a child.
Look. We're at the top now.
At the top?
Yeah, so it's so far.
And I know this is just like a form of speech for her that she is used to saying, but she needs to stop saying look at everything, bro. I don't know, that just seems so offensive to me. Like, seriously, that's the one thing you tell him to do. The one verb you request of him is look. Come on, girlie, we're better than that. So anyways, as they're sat here among the jungle trees, she asks him for the backstory of how he lost his vision, and he basically says they were two separate traumatic incidents that caused him to lose vision in each eye, which is crazy and so sad. But what does she do with this sad, terrible information? Makes it about herself and makes it crazy once again.
But the whole thing about being blind. Do you believe that you became blind spiritually?
What?
I have the same answer to that, dude. What? What does that even mean? You became blind spiritually. Is she saying that, because he went blind is the only reason he found his faith later on and the only reason he won't bang her? Because she's really hung up on that. Again, it is creepy how bad she needs this dude's meat. I get wanting it after, that many years apart, but you really are pressuring the guy and making everything about this situation. It's weird as hell.
I think something spiritual happened to him that made him lose his sight so that we could come together. It's just adding up to the perfect thing.
I think God made him blind so that we could find each other and he would need me and I would guide him around and let him only bump into one or two branches while I pet the monkeys. I think it'd be awesome time. That's literally what these confessional ramblings sound like from her. I don't know what to do with this information. She's just overloading my brain with such utter nonsense that I can't even follow. What the fuck are you talking about when blind spiritually? I'm still hung up on that myself. But no, she thinks this was a quest given from God. You must go blind and then you will find the love of your life and be on this really cringy trash TV show that highlights just how bad this relationship actually is. But you'll never see it. Okay, that I shouldn't have said that. That came out of my mouth and then I realized how specifically for his situation that's offensive to say, so I take that back. But he couldn't predict that, I should say.
You believe that I was brought here by God himself as a miracle. Your blindness is just not a normal occurrence. I mean, we've all been smacked in the face countless times. And
she's so dismissive. Dude, I've taken many hits to the eyes and I'm not blind. Yeah, I might have CTE and it might kind of explain the reason I'm such a weirdo in my thought process, but I'm not blind. So I think God made you blind on purpose so that you could get with me, or so that I could get with you tonight, please. Like, come on, shut up. You're making me lose my mind, Renee.
Sometimes it seems like he lives in alternate reality. Conversations like this gives me a great deal of worry.
And in the end, this dude admits that's actually so offensive that she even insinuated the fact that this happened to me on purpose and this was my destiny because of the fact that it would lead me to her. Like, that's such an insane statement. It's so full of just, again, so many red flags. But that's where I'm wrapping it up for this episode. That's enough craziness for me. Look, I'm gonna be following the story still, whether you like it or not, because this lady makes me cringe like no other on this show. And it's not as often that it's the woman in the relationship that is as deranged and detached from reality as she is. So again, make sure you like for some, Jordans for bunnies. Whatever shoe we're putting on whatever animal, just drop a like and help out the cause, all right? Catch you in the next video as always, and until next time, peace out.